Hi guys, so you're about to start your first discussion. So I just wanted to make a quick little video to help you out, tell you a little bit about discussions, and then give you an example of the discussion you're about to do. So discussions are just a way for me to get to see your work in a little bit closer detail. Because I don't get to see you and talk to you every day about all these problems, we created these things called discussions. There's one in each unit, and it just asks you to do one problem, but more detailed. So I can see the details. You can show me all the things that you know about that one problem. So discussions really shouldn't be any different than any other assignment, and you should all do really great on them. So for this first discussion, here's a little bit of information of what you might want to know. So this lesson 3 that you just completed, is all about exponents, and more specifically, rational exponents. But the rules are the same for integers and rational exponents. So I just wrote down the exponent rules right here. If you don't have these written down somewhere, you definitely should. You should have a page of notes already about exponents. But here's 4 of them: product of powers, power of powers, quotient of powers, and power of products. And I wrote down a little example of each one. Okay, so like I just said, these rules are the same for integers, which means that just like regular old numbers, positives, negatives, and rational numbers, fractions, decimals. The rules are the same. The numbers may be different. Okay, so this discussion is just going to ask you a couple of questions. First, it's going to say, choose one of the rules for rational exponents. So all you have to do is choose one of these rules. You can pick any one you want, whichever one you like the most. Let's just say we chose the first one, product of powers. So you can just write product of powers. Or you could write out like the mathematical way of writing it. So you could have written like a to the b times a to the c equals a to the b plus c. Either one of those is fine because it just told you to choose a rule. The next part is going to ask you to create a sample problem. So you choose your own numbers. You can even use one of the examples that they gave you in the lesson. That's fine too. You just have to create a sample problem. So I'm going to choose easy numbers because why would I make it a little more difficult on myself? So creating a sample problem, I'm just going to do 2 to the 5th power times 2 to the 3rd power. And now you have to solve the sample problem. So you're going to use your exponent rule that you just wrote down to solve your sample problem. Okay, so since I know 2 to the 5th power times 2 to the 3rd power, that's going to be 2 to the 5 plus 3. My answer would be 2 to the 8th power. So that's all you have to do for the discussion. You just have to come up with, choose one of the rules, create a sample problem, and solve it. So the point of the discussion is just for me to be able to see you do one problem in more detail. So that's what you're going to do on this discussion.